Hi, everybody. It's Tiffany and Veronica with Dr. Cheryl Lewin's office. We're here to do a little Disney live chat since we always get those questions on when can we go, what can we do, and everybody wants to know how to do Disney right because it can be overwhelming. Well, Veronica here is our Disney expert in addition to being the patient care coordinator. So, Veronica, do you want to introduce yourself or did I just do it for you?
You pretty much did. I'm Veronica. I'm Dr. Lewin's patient care coordinator. I help navigate families through the insurance process, and I'm a Disney fan. So I'm here to answer some questions and kind of give you some feedback on just experiences to try to make it a very pleasurable experience.
So let's first of all talk about the timing. So this is to educate people on Disney, but also explain, how our office, kind of likes to advise people because we always try to remind people that, this is a surgery trip. This is not a vacation. On the other hand, I have a child that was born with microtia, had surgery, and I know how incredibly important it is to make super positive experiences as well and memories. So there's like that balance, but so there's a couple times opportunities, I guess, to go. One is during the 3D scan. Personally, I feel like that's the best. If you would come to the office for a 3D scan, that's a great time to hit Disney. You have no restrictions. The second option is at pre-op or before pre-op, actually. Pre-op's usually like on a Tuesday and then surgeries later on the week. Before pre-op is great because you have no restrictions, but you still have to stay super healthy. And Disney is outside, which is great, but there's a lot of things that are kind of in and out, but there are just so many people and so many germs. So if you do go before surgery, bring lots of hand sanitizer, wash your hands, take vitamins or whatever is approved, but just keep yourself super, super healthy. And if, the further away you can go from surgery, the better, because if you do get sick and surgery is canceled, I mean, you might be rescheduled a long, long time away. The other option is after your second post-op visit. Again, that would be like 2 Tuesdays after surgery. At this point, that could change. But you will definitely be restricted on what you can and cannot do. So while you're sitting in California, it's a good time. It's a good, I guess, time to do something, but you're going to be significantly limited in what you can do. And we want to make sure that Dr. Lynn sees the ear first to make sure it's even okay to go out and about a little bit. So, Veronica, let me just ask you a few things. I went to Disney, a few months ago when I was out there for my niece's first birthday, and I took my kids out there to the adventure park, but things are constantly changing. And I was really amazed when I went a few months ago, like the technology advances since I'd been there previously. So can you talk a little bit about maybe the tickets and then the app, how that all works?
Yes. So the best thing to do is if you are planning to going on to Disneyland is to download the Disney app because it has a lot of resources. It has maps to the parks. It has how you can purchase tickets, make reservations, change reservations. It tells you how to book and reserve lunches or meals. So it's just very, very helpful tool while you're in the park.
Yeah, I noticed. So I went with my relatives who lived there, which is super convenient because they knew what they're doing. But like we got off, or we were actually waiting in line for one ride. They ordered our lunch while waiting in line. And then we literally walked to like our next event and we picked up the food to sit down to eat right when we had like our tickets for the next ride. I was like, this couldn't have gone more smoothly. And I don't remember that from the last time many, many years ago we went to Disney. It was like one big frustration. So that was cool. And I think the app then tracks like your parking too. Like, is that
Yeah.
right?
So on the app, there's a lot of different features. So when you go to park, because there's so many different levels that you can park in, there's the Pixar side, and then there's the Mickey side. It lets you put in like the number where you're parked, and it gives you that information so that if you happen to forget where you're parked, you will be able to track your car and know exactly where you actually are. So it's very convenient.
That's awesome. What about tickets, booking reservations, the fast pass of the lightning lane? Tell me a little bit, like, what are your suggestions about tickets?
So tickets, if you know that you're going to be coming to Disneyland, because you do have to have reservations and sometimes they do sell out, especially towards the summer, because that's when it's the more people tend to go. You'll want to book that information or book your reservations and book your tickets as soon as you know approximately when you're going to be coming, just so that you can ensure that the day that you're desiring is available. And then you would be able to reserve that. And then, or if something happens and you have to actually change it, you can do it from that app. So it's very convenient.
And then you can also then reserve like the restaurants with the characters or like versus just like we did just on the go food, but there's like sit down dinners with characters, correct?
So an insider tip is if you know that you're going to be coming out, if you kind of know which restaurant you kind of want to go to, is you soon as you reserve your tickets, you can go in there and try to make reservations for the actual restaurants, and then it gives you the times, and then you can actually even pay for your meal via your phone. You don't have to bring out your credit card or anything like that. So there's just a lot of different perks that are very, very helpful to make the experience pleasant and so that you have more time to do things in the park.
Right. So going on with food, the other thing is I was amazed so many people bringing like huge bags. I guess I'm so used to like athletic events and things where you can bring like a purse this big. People had like huge bags and just tons of water bottles and diaper bags and snacks. So is that not really restricted or?
No, you can bring your anything that is an edible item to the park. There's no restrictions on that. Another insider tip is if you go to any of the stands where they have the beverages, like the fountains, you can ask for cups of water. So you don't have to carry the bottled waters if you didn't want to, but you're always welcome to.
Okay. And then kind of along those lines of things to bring in, people can bring in strollers. I think when a lot of kids that are young travel for surgery, I always thought it was really helpful to have a stroller so that I could still get exercise or fresh air, but you really have to limit their physical activity, especially, right after surgery. And the stroller also provides some type of physical protection. So I feel like that's, really good. But if you don't bring one, you can rent them there. Is that correct?
Correct. So the park has a lot of convenient little things for our kiddos. So you can get the strollers. They're actually a little bit bigger strollers. So sometimes if you have a little bit older child, then they would be able to get some rest while they're waiting to do something else. They also have wheelchairs that if you needed to get something like that for a family member or for the child itself, they do have that. And you, once you walk into the park, there's an information booth, and then sometimes you can actually get it outside of the park. So in the app, you'll get the resources on how you get those accommodations.
Okay, great. And then just talking about kind of walking in on that main street, I believe if it's like your first time at Disney or there's like buttons or is that correct?
Yes. So when you first walk into the park and you're walking in, there's like an information little spot that's right by where the fire station is. So if you go there, or if you go into any of the stores and you let them know that it's your first time at Disneyland or you're celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, they have these cute little pins, no charge, and you can have them. And then sometimes they'll write their names on there or they'll do different things. So it makes it a special memorable moment.
Super fun. All right, so let's say we are going post-stop. Let's just run through a couple rides or situations. It seems like things that are super safe are obviously Main Street walking around and, anything walking around. But again, having that stroller is really nice because we don't want too much exercise. But the character meet and greets, the autograph session, you can bring your own little autograph book or you can buy it, at Disney because they sell everything possible. So, they can get their dollars. And then in general, after surgery at any time, especially for those first 6 weeks, we want no water misters. We want nothing spinny where the ear can like jostle. You'll have an ear cup on, but it can't jostle like any type of neck strains or anything like that, or spinny rides. Um, And you really do want to keep the patient not sweating, because it actually happened to my kid. You overheat and you sweat, he's super sweaty, and you can get like a fungus infection underneath the ear cup, and then it's blistery and stuff like that. Like, it's not common, but it was kind of before we knew all this. And that's miserable for the child. So you really want to do everything to keep your child safe and recovering from surgery. So we talked about, so there's like, the different areas of the park, and something like Adventureland is all the roller coasters. You're gonna have to stay far away from that. Critter Country, stay far away from that. You said Fantasyland was decent, and that is the like It's a Small World, like those type of things, Veronica?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's a small world. It's got the little carousels there. So it's the rides that are more appropriate for smaller children, and they tend to be a lot better for our patients.
Okay, great. And then Frontierland, that seemed really watery and roller coastery or whatever else like that. Mickey's Toontown, you had kind of mentioned that it's basically like the meet and greet would be good. And of course, any of these are good to walk through, like, the Star Wars stuff, but you just can't go on the rides. And then like even Tomorrowland, like the Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. I mean, that was pretty cool. You're sitting there shooting, but you reminded me that you kind of spin fast to shoot the next thing, and any of that spinning and jostling, it's just really not ideal. And the last thing you want to do is like be calling Dr. Lynn's cell phone on a Sunday night at 10 p.m. because you have a hematoma because you went to Disney on a ride that you shouldn't have. So and more importantly, you do not want to have to put your child through any type of procedure because of a post-op complication that could have been avoided. So, is there anything else you can think of, Veronica, that might be helpful? I know, I've never been good about the parades and fireworks. You gave some helpful information about that.
Yeah. So on that Disney app, it tells you the times. It tells you, it has so much information, like where you can find specific characters. If your child has a fancy for one character, it tells you what time they're going to be at, where exactly they're going to be. It tells you the times when the parades are going to come, and be ready to go. The best thing to do is, if you are interested in watching the parade, is trying to find an area that's kind of shaded, so then that way, because again, you don't want the heat, you don't want the sun beaming, you don't want to have to worry about, getting sunburn or anything like that. And that's another important thing to make sure you have to protect yourself, is to try to find cooler spots. So then that way your child doesn't overheat and doesn't have any issues after having fun at the park.
Exactly. And then I guess there's the California Adventureland too, which is roller coasters, especially if you have older children, but that is something that you should definitely do before surgery, because it's basically just like for older kids, and rides and roller coasters. So much fun, but that is not for post-op. And if we have made everything a little depressing, or maybe you're nervous to go to Disney, I was a huge fan of the Long Beach Aquarium. We went to that several times, and in and out, and go for an hour or two, and you're just walking, again, a stroller. But I work remotely and live in Wisconsin, and we don't get aquariums and seahorses and cool things like that. So as much as Disney is Disney, and you can't knock meeting Cinderella, the aquarium is a safe thing to do post-op as well, which I was a huge fan of. So well, thanks, Veronica, for your time. I'm sure if anybody has a Disney specific question, they can reach out to you. You are the guru. How many ears do you have again
I probably have like 150 now.
of Mickey Mouse ears?
Yes, I collect them.
And you have the backpack, the wallet, the watch, the sweatshirts. Like, what are you wearing today?
I'm wearing my Disney sweater. It says Disneyland on the back.
Love it.
My phone case is Disney. My watch case is Disney. So I'm just a big Disney fan.
All right, everybody. Well, she's your guru. She's your go-to. If you have insurance questions about Mickey Mouse, she can help you. So thanks for watching.
Thank you. Bye.